Well, this fucking sucks. No pun intended.
So we're on a well, and a few days ago, the breaker kept tripping every time the well pump kicked on. So I opened up the well control box and I replaced all the capacitors and basically tested everything, made sure that it was working properly, and despite replacing all that, it just kept tripping. I had to call a well company out here, and they determined that the well pump was drawing 78 amps. So unfortunately, they had to pull the well, and what they found was that the well is dry. Now, this is not entirely unexpected. A lot of the old wells in the area have gone dry and people have had to drill new ones. And our well has been very slow since we moved in. In fact, we have cisterns in the basement for that reason, which if you followed me long enough, you probably remember me climbing into them and cleaning them out. But the really unfortunate thing is that in order to drill a new well around here, you have to get down to about 1,200 feet to an aquifer. That is extremely, extremely expensive, like $120,000+ to drill. So the issue is we don't have a way to fill up these cisterns without a functioning well or without just running a hose down the stairs from a tank in my truck. So my goal is to make it as easy as possible to fill up from outside. We're working to see if we can get on public water, but that process could take months. And obviously I'm going to avoid drilling a new well as long as I possibly can and not do it unless I absolutely have to. So it means I have to haul water, but I need to be able to fill these tanks easy. So I come up with a solution by adding another cistern outside, and then I'm going to plumb that cistern via a valve all the way through under the house so that I can fill the tank outside, and then I can just dump that water into the cisterns in the basement as needed. So what I have is a 210-gallon tank in the bed of my truck, which we can fill at the town, which we had to figure out that process, but it's pretty straightforward and easy. And then I take that via a 2-inch transfer hose and a transfer pump, and I pump the water out of that tank into a 320-gallon holding tank outside. And then as needed, I can dump water from that holding tank via this valve into the basement. And in the basement, we have 800-gallon cistern. So we have about 1,100 gallons between the tanks in the basement and the tank outside, plus another 200 and something in the bed of my truck. So it's plenty of water. And although it's mildly inconvenient, it's not like I have to go pick up water every single day. In fact, right now I've filled up all the tanks to their maximum capacity, and I'm running it down so I can figure out what our typical usage is. So that way I can figure out a schedule for picking up water. And if anything, it's made us more cognizant of our water usage, which we were pretty cognizant of before. But now, obviously, it's even more important. So I'm comfortable with where we're at. Obviously, I'm thankful that we're going into the summer months. But if it comes around to the winter months, obviously, it's not going to be as fun to haul water in the freezing cold. And I'll have to make some modifications to this system to be able to withstand the freezing. But all things considered, I spent less than $2,000 on this setup. And personally, I'm willing to haul water for a little while if it means saving myself over $100,000 while we deal with the city. So when you own a home, you never know what you're going to deal with, and this is just the latest hurdle that we have to deal with. So if you need me, I'll be hauling water.